Hello, this is season 4 of Hot Boxing, and I'm Mike Tyson, and my co-host here is Mr. Paul Pierce, and we're here with one of the greatest fighters of all time, JERMALL CHARLO.
Hey, it's the Empire, Geoboxing Empire, Baxter Boxing. Now, you guys heard Mike Tyson, man, call JERMALL CHARLO one of the greatest fighters of all time. You know, he got praise from a living legend, a walking icon, a symbol of fierce, this brutality. Mike Tyson, my boy. You know, Mike Tyson was on. He has a show, man, Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson, man. He had Big Maul on the show, and man, Mike Tyson showed no respect to Canelo Alvarez. He's like, man, listen. He was talking to Jamal, saying things like, man, why are you so respectful to this guy? You should trash him more, man. You should be calling him bitch. You should be, talking trash about his kids, man. Whatever for the fight to happen. Do whatever for the fight to happen. And, it was wild stuff, man. To get endorsement from an all-time great like Mike Tyson. Now, man, Canelo Alvarez, man, he's such a diva, so disrespectful. The guy has no humility. Canelo Alvarez actually came out at one point and said that he doesn't care about what Mike Tyson says. Canelo Alvarez has had problems with people like Juan Marquez. They had beef. Marquez does not think that Canelo is who people think he is, right? Canelo Alvarez has had beef with Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., right? Facts, because, him and their son fought against Canelo Alvarez, and, to this day, they might take photos together, but behind closed door, man, they really don't like each other, right? Even Canelo Alvarez had a falling out with Oscar De La Hoya. Big facts. Had a big falling out with Oscar De La Hoya, and the guy doesn't even respect Oscar, right? He called him a traitor at one point because Oscar De La Hoya called him out and said, man, listen, when I was managing you, you were scared to fight JERMALL CHARLO. He came out and just said it. He just said it blatantly. He's like, man, listen, you're ducking JERMALL CHARLO. I was managing you. I know, because I kept you away from him. So, all that being said, man, you got all these legends in the game, man. And let's not forget TBE, all-time great, the god, the legend, the myth, the pantheon of Floyd Mayweather. Canelo Alvarez still can't get over that L, and he's still trashing Floyd to this day, talking about, oh, if I were to fight him at 40 plus years old, I'd beat him. The disrespect coming out this ginger, right? The ginger. Let's keep it this ginger. Canelo Alvarez doesn't respect any of his elders, man. He doesn't respect any of these living legends. And I ran through his list, black and Mexican, right? Doesn't respect anybody. So all that being said, man, JERMALL CHARLO has already called out Canelo Alvarez. He already called him a bitch. But in war, you go in the approach of any means necessary. So JERMALL CHARLO already disrespected Canelo Alvarez and called him, he already called him a bitch. So now he's like, hey, you know what? Mike Tyson's like, hey, man, you should be more disrespectful to this guy. You should be trashing him. And Big Maul, high IQ, so genius, Einstein level. He's like, nah, man, Canelo, great fighter. Yeah. Great business moves. If I was Canelo, I'd be doing the same thing. I'd be picking bumps too. I'd be picking these Eastern European fighters to fight too. That's what Big Maul was saying. And how are you going to disrespect someone who's respectfully toward you? Jamal is playing the long game against Canelo Alvarez. He's just going to sing his praises and say the guy's a great fighter because he already did the disrespectful stuff, right? JERMALL CHARLO is one of many fighters who wants to fight the quote-unquote face of boxing. These Canelo fans, they swear on God that Canelo runs boxing, that Mexico runs boxing. So Canelo's the face of boxing. How many guys are trashing him right now? How many guys are, saying he's scared and he's a bitch? Too many fighters are doing it. So JERMALL CHARLO, he's picking a different route. He's taking a different approach. He's being more high IQ, more of a gentleman, giving him his props. And in fact, not only that, he's copying his ways. JERMALL CHARLO is fighting Soluki, right? big dog, man. Great fighter in middleweight. Only has 2 losses to Demetrius Andrade and Daniel Jacobs, right? 2 multi-division world champions, right? So that being said, understand that Salicki is an elite level fighter. He's been up there for a while now. So, you know, Jermall Charlo is fighting who he needs to fight as weight class, and he's not going to go up until he clears it out like he should. A lot of people want him going up and down and fighting big names like this is some, you know, Mortal Kombat shit. I mean, this is not Mortal Kombat, my guy. This is boxing. And in boxing, nobody respects going up and down in weight fighting big, quote unquote, big names, because Jermall Charlo already did that. He already fought Sergey Danchenko. He already fought somebody who quote unquote beat Triple G. But guess what? He didn't get the nod. So when he beat Danchenko, that should have been a unification fight, but it wasn't. So, you know, that being said, man, you know, Jermall Charlo has beaten fighters that are top contenders who became unified in what's his name? Julian Jarrett Williams. He became unified and ended up beating Jarrett Swift Hurd. So these are facts, man. This is the elite level stuff that Jermall Charlo's already been there and done that. He's already fought these big names. He's already beaten guys who should have been champions, right? Now he's doing things for his legacy by being undisputed champion at 160. He's gonna stay there until they fight him. You know, these guys don't want to fight, then it's gonna be a PBC matter. How these fighters are gonna keep fighting these quote unquote bums until they run into the wrong one and take that L. Right, Demetrius Andrade is already going to go up to 168, man. It's facts, right? That WBO title is going to be vacant. Will a PBC fighter get it? We don't know, man. Already seen Jaime Munguia struggle against his opponents, man. He hasn't looked the best in all of his fights. And, you know, any day now, he can get stopped by one of these lower level fighters, right? Now, Jaime Munguia is a good fighter. He's just inconsistent. So, that being said, man, going up to 168, it's a ghost division up there, man. Canelo already stopped everybody. There's only one guy who's a has-been, and David Benavidez. David Benavidez has no credentials at 168 right now, other than he used to be a champion a long time ago. So that being said, man, Big Maul, man, playing the gentleman's game, playing the IQ game. You know, these fans, they can't understand it because they can't see past their finger. They can't think in the future. They're not planning their future out. You know, this is Maul's 401k, man. This Canelo fight, it's in the bag, my guy. I mean, what is Canelo really gonna do after he beats Bivol and Triple G? The fight's already on the card. There's no reason to go all out on him when he has a 3-fight deal. It's facts. He's gonna be fighting Dimitri Bivol. It's already in a card. It's already gonna happen. There's no point in trashing him and calling him names and all that stuff. Wait until that gets done with, and then the fight's gonna happen. Because Canelo has nowhere else to go. What is he gonna do? Fight fucking Anthony Joshua next? Is he gonna go to heavyweight? Is he gonna go to cruiserweight? I mean, at that point, it gets ridiculous at that point. It gets really ridiculous, right? So, you know, Big Maul, man, he knows what time it is, and he's gonna fight these fighters at 160 and get his credentials up, get his weight up before that fight happens, right? Understand also Dave Benavidez, the guy already has a fight. I think they already say he's gonna be fight someone like David Lemieux, a former 160 fighter. You know, David Benavidez likes getting these smaller fighters and bringing them up in weight. Dave Benavidez used to be a former 154 fighter. This is his 3rd division. Dave Benavidez missed weight before. He's big for 168. At one point, actually, he was actually the man. He was actually when he lost the title, he was the #1 ranked in the WBC at 175. I mean, at 175. So the fact is, Dave Benavidez, he could have been fought anyone at 175 who had the title. He was highly ranked. That's what happens when you lose your title or you go up in weight and you are a champion. You automatically become #1. Something that Demetrius Andrade is doing right now, right? He's a current WBO 160 champion, going up in weight, fighting the #1 contender for that WBO title. Dave Benavidez, if he really wants to fight these top guys, he should be fighting guys like David Lemieux. He should be fighting guys like Elder Alvarez, Joe Smith Jr., you know, the hard hitters at 175. You know, he should be fighting all this too many guys at 175. There's too many big name fights for David Benavidez not to fight him. Instead, he's picking on smaller middleweights. He's picking on, you know, he's not calling out all middleweights. He's only talking about Jermall. He's not talking about Triple G. He's not talking about Andrade. You know, he's not talking about Chris Eubank Jr. You I can go on and on about all these middleweights. He's only calling out one in specific. So I think that's it's a coward move, man. It's a coward move. It's a coward move from David. He needs to pick someone his own size, right? And this is a guy who can't make 168, guy who can't hold his title at 168 at least, right? Fight for fun at 168, but when it gets serious and he has to maintain a strict regimen, right? Maintain weight and keep that title for long periods of time, he couldn't do it. He lost it twice. Big facts, big facts. So anyway, man, Big Maul playing the IQ game. Cinnamon, man, guy, no respect. Don't respect any elders, man. Don't respect the culture that came before him. Don't respect the Mexican fighters who paved the way and the boxers who paved the way. The guy, shame on Canelo, man. Shame on Canelo. Anyway, let me know how you guys feel about it, though. Like, comment, subscribe. It's the Empire. JERMALL Empire. Peace. JERMALL Empire.